Welcome to a new deep dive here on the Heavy Blend.
Hey, everyone.
So this is an independent project born in Italy, and our whole goal is to give you a really in-depth overview of rock and heavy metal albums.
Right. And we do that by looking at a bunch of public sources, from the specialized press. We use some modern AI tools to help process it all. And this is important.
Yeah, the human touch is key.
Exactly. The choice of sources, crafting the prompts, the final edit, that's all us. And it's built on, years of experience in the music scene.
Our mission is really just to boil it all down for you. We take all these different reviews, some that agree, some that totally conflict, and we try to get to the heart of what's going on with a release.
So you can decide if it's actually worth your time.
And today, we are diving into a really big one. It's Dream Theater's monumental new live release, Quarantieme, live à Paris.
A huge release.
It is. And before we really get into it, I just want to say a quick thank you to all of you listening, to the press, even to the bands. We've been getting some amazing positive feedback for the Heavy Blend.
We really appreciate it. It makes it all worthwhile. For this deep dive, we're leaning on some really authoritative voices from the Italian metal scene, sites that are respected internationally. We're pulling from reviews on Metalhead, Metalist.it, TrueMetal.e, and Metal.80. So we're getting a really diverse and sometimes pretty critical look at this thing.
Okay, so let's unpack this, because from what I'm seeing in these reviews, this isn't just a 40th anniversary party.
No, not at all.
It feels more like a critical stress test of this iconic lineup. You've got the pure joy of Mike Portnoy's return clashing head on with some very blunt criticism.
That's the tension at the core of it. The title, Quarantieme, it means 40th. And as TrueMetal.ee and Metal.it both point out, the band actually started way back in 1985 as Majesty.
So this show in Paris, filmed at the Adidas Arena on November 23rd, 2024, that was the big celebration.
In front of about 9,000 people, yeah.
And what makes this recording historic right out of the gate is the lineup. This is the first tour, the very first, with Mike Portnoy back behind the kit.
It's the one. The legendary configuration. Labrie, Myung, Petrucci, Portnoy, and Rudess. Metalhead just called the five of them a marvel for the whole 3 hours.
For so many fans, this is the only lineup that counts. And you can tell the band knew it because the packaging for this thing, it feels like a definitive historical statement.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You've got that amazing cover art from Hugh Syme, who's a legend, and the formats, from a 4LP vinyl set to the standard 3CD Blu-ray.
And then there's that insanely limited deluxe art book.
Right, the 3CD plus 3 Blu-ray art book. TrueMetal.it details it. It is like 68 pages of photos and art.
But the real prize for a lot of people is going to be the audio on the Blu-ray.
Without a doubt. They've got the whole show in Dolby Atmos and 5.1 surround sound. That is a massive production commitment. They wanted this to sound perfect.
Okay, so from the packaging to the actual spectacle, Dream Theater is known for technical precision. But what about the visuals in Paris? What did the reviews say?
Universally praised. Metalhead called the audio and video impeccable. TrueMetal.it said the film quality on the Blu-ray is optimal.
I did love that classic prog metal complaint from TrueMetal.it, though. That Myung's bass could have been, a little more present in the mix.
It's the eternal struggle of the prog bassist, isn't it?
Yeah.
Essential, but always fighting for space. Visually, though, it was completely immersive.
So the giant LED walls with steampunk animations and all that?
Yeah, but it was more than that. True Metal, it pointed out this one very beautiful scenic detail.
Which was?
The fronts of Portnoy's drum riser and Rudess's keyboard stand were also covered in LED panels.
Oh, wow. So the whole stage was part of the visual theme.
Exactly. It created this wraparound, immersive effect. And they used that tech brilliantly, especially in the second act.
What happened there?
A surprise cinematic intro. It was orchestral. And TrueMetal.it compared it to something Nightwish would do, but better. It was a musical journey through all their albums, with AI-generated visuals.
So they're acknowledging the full 40-year history, even if the set list maybe doesn't.
That's a good way to put it. And of course, the band members themselves are part of the show. Petrucci's glittered beard, Portnoy's dream monster kit.
And Rudess's keyboard, which one reviewer called a spaceship that defies the laws of physics.
Yes, you get the idea.
All right, let's pig it to the set list, because here's where it gets really interesting and controversial. How did they celebrate 40 years with their song choices?
Well, they definitely went big. The setlist is rich, according to TrueMetal.et. 18 tracks.
It opens with Metropolis Pi 1, which is a huge statement.
A huge statement.
Yeah.
And it closes with The Spirit Carries On, and of course, the unavoidable Pull Me Under.
And in the middle, some epic pieces.
Massive pieces. You've got the 24-minute suite Octavarium, which Metalhead called a Masigno, a boulder, basically. And they included Night Terror from their latest studio album, Parasomnia.
They also threw in some special moments for the dedicated fans.
They did. Everyone highlighted the extended demo version of Hollow Years.
The pre-MTV version?
Exactly, the one with the piano coda. And importantly, Portnoy played tracks from the Mangini era, like Barstool Warrior. He wasn't just sticking to his own stuff.
That's a great sign. It shows he's embracing the whole history.
It's crucial. But the set list was still a major point of frustration for the critics.
Okay, so what was the problem?
Both Metallist.it and TrueMetal.it were, well, disappointed. Two big complaints. First, not enough of the early stuff. Metallist, it points out only 2 tracks from the masterpiece, Images and Words.
Only 2. For a 40th anniversary.
I know. And second, there was a feeling they leaned way too heavily on the material recorded since Jordan Rudess joined the band.
But the biggest strategic mistake, according to TrueMetal.it, was when they recorded the show.
Right. It was so early in the tour. And they expressed great regret about this.
Because they missed out on what came later in the tour.
They missed out on some absolute monsters. Later set lists had things like the Shadow Man incident and the big one, A Change of Seasons.
Wow. To not have A Change of Seasons on a 40th anniversary live album feels like a huge missed opportunity.
It does. It feels like they prioritized getting the release out quickly over creating a truly definitive document.
That's a really interesting point. It casts a bit of a shadow, doesn't it? So this all raises the big question. After all these years, how did this iconic lineup actually sound?
Instrumentally. The praise is just off the charts. It's almost funny how the reviewers describe them.
How so?
Metal, we called them surgical and almost robotic.
Yeah.
And true metal would use the exact same phrase. Surgical precision.
It's like the highest compliment you can give a prog band, right? To be as precise as a machine.
Pretty much. Petrucci is still called the phenomenon. Rudess gets praise for his lysergic, psychedelic intro to Octavarium.
But the real story here, the reason this whole thing exists, is Portnoy.
His impact is seen as transformative.
Yeah.
Metal. He has this great line where they say he slaps the band's recent past in the face.
What?
Yeah. Because he got rid of the click track. He got rid of that mechanical execution that critics felt defined the Mangini years. He brought back a looser, more musical feel.
A fresh attitude. Okay, so now we have to talk about the elephant in the room.
James Labrie.
James Labrie. The reviews here are completely divided. This is the core of that stress test we were talking about.
It really is. On one end, you have an extremely negative take from Metal.ai. The reviewer just says Labrie doesn't have it anymore.
Ouch.
Said he struggled even on lower and more accessible passages, and went so far as to suggest he might have an unadmitted hearing problem that's causing him to be completely off-key. He's called the fish out of water.
Hang on a second. If one major site is saying he's got a hearing problem and is completely off-key, how is it possible another review calls the performance not that mediocre? Are they even listening to the same show?
That's the million-dollar question. Metallist.
Yeah.
It's a bit more moderate. They confirmed he had more than a few difficulties on the high notes in songs like Metropolis P1. But, and this is important, they said he was fully at ease and delivered a really powerful performance on the softer track, Hollow Years. So the problem seems to be with those high-energy, high-register prog metal parts.
And True Metal kind of tried to play mediator in all this?
They did. They warned people to avoid judging based on shaky YouTube videos and said that overall, his performance was not that mediocre. But even they admitted he clearly missed the high notes on Metropolis.
So what does it all mean? The reviews are just polar opposites.
Exactly. You've got a perfect 10 out of 10 from Metalhead praising the monstrous performance. Then you have Metal.it calling it usual fluff that's only saved by Portnoy's return. And TrueMetal.it lands in the middle with a 70 out of 100.
So the value of Quarantieme really depends on what you, the listener, prioritize.
Right. Is it the spectacle and the historic return of Portnoy? Or is it the flawed set list and the controversial vocal performance?
It's a high-tech, historically significant document, but it sounds like one you need to approach with, let's say, a nuanced perspective.
A cautious listen, for sure. We definitely encourage you to check it out for yourself.
And speaking of checking it out, if you're watching the video for this deep dive, you'll see a QR code on your screen now. It takes you directly to the band's official Facebook page. For us at The Heavy Blend, connecting you directly with the artists is the most important thing.
Absolutely. So we've covered the instrumental brilliance, the production, the setlist debate, and the vocals. Before we go, we want to hear from you. Leave a comment below with your thoughts on a few questions.
First, was focusing the celebration on Portnoy's return and the Rudis era material the right call for a 40th anniversary? Or should they have gone for a more comprehensive, classic set list?
Second, if Portnoy really brings back that fresh musical attitude by getting rid of the click track, which classic live track from his era do you think best captures that energy? Something like Stream of Consciousness, maybe Home, or Panic Attack.
And finally, the tough one. If James LaBrie is struggling with the higher registers, like Metal.it suggests, what should the band do? Should they adapt the songs for tours, or should they pivot to focus more on studio work and solo projects?
We're really looking forward to reading your comments. And if you found this deep dive interesting, please share it. For us, sharing a passion among people is so much more important than just the number of subscribers.
That's all the time we have for this heavy blend. Thank you for joining us on this look into Quarantieme. Until the next deep dive, keep listening, keep thinking, and keep it heavy.
I wasn't lying, I wasn't sure.